Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Journals. Welcome back to my channel. Super excited to share with you my hauls from when I was in Melbourne from various op shops, vintage places and antique stores. And yeah, whenever I go to Melbourne, I usually go once a year at Christmas time to visit my family. And because I live in a small country, rural town, there's not a lot of shopping options, no vintage options up here in Bowen. So when I go to Melbourne, I stock up for the year and buy all my junk journal supplies down there. And then that does me for the rest of the year until I go back to Melbourne again. So I'll give you a look at what I picked up this time. It's a bit of a double haul this time because last year when I went to Melbourne, it was, during COVID times and all of that, so I didn't leave the house for the time that I was down there. I only went for 2 weeks. I usually go for longer, and I just didn't see anyone and just stayed in the house. So to make up for that, I kind of went a bit nuts and did 2 years worth of shopping. And this also will give you a look at the types of things that I'm looking for whenever I go to op shops and vintage places. So first of all, wallpaper. This is one of those items that I can only get when I go to Melbourne, and I love wallpaper. I'll give you a look at these different designs. We've got this purple floral here. This one's really unique and interesting. We've got this pink floral. They had more wallpapers than this, but some of them were just more those geometric pattern type ones, and I'm looking for the florals. We've got pink floral. We've got a yellow floral. This is a really sweet one. Lovely. I was thinking this one would be especially nice for the inside linings of journal covers. And then this one here, we've got a beautiful floral here as well. And even this border strip is pretty. So yeah, 2, 4, 6 wallpapers. Oh, there's also one more. Hang on. I knew there was another one. This one here. It's another purple floral. So that is lovely. Yay! Wallpaper. These make great covers, tags and pockets. Okay, and then I always look for doilies and a bit of fabric and lace. I'm a lot more selective now. When I first started, I didn't have much in the way of junk journal supplies, so I would always grab whatever lace I could find. I would often grab whatever fabric floral I could find, but now I'm a lot more selective. And so I did find a lot of lace, but I didn't get any lace because I do have a whole basket full of lace. But yeah, I've got these paper doilies. I love using doilies in journals, so I've got this rectangular size, which is really fun. And then I got this fabric, so there were quite a lot of different fabrics. I could have gotten a whole bunch, but yeah, again, I'm being very selective because I already have a basket full of fabric. And so I got this lovely blue floral, pink buds and green leaves, and that can make some wonderful journal covers. And then embroidered doilies are some of my absolute favourite supplies. I've got such a huge haul of these. In terms of, I've got a basket at home that is just full of doilies and linens. My goodness, this one is probably my favourite one from this haul. It is just gorgeous. Probably because of the blue, that's why I like it. This one here, I thought was so sweet with the bird and the bird bath. And it is a larger doily, but that is just beautiful. Very, very sweet. So I believe I got 10 doilies here, and this one, really little sweet one too, pink florals. I especially love the ones with this type of border though, that edging. Another pink floral. Yeah, I'm always looking for the florals. I found a lot of doilies this time, a lot, but I just got the ones that either I liked or the ones that were in my budget, and the ones that I like are the florals. So a nice striking red one. This one is interesting, very interesting design. I love the purple and the blue there. This one is one of my favorites as well. Really sweet. Look at those. Aren't they so adorable? And a lovely interesting shape as well. And then this one here, it opens up as well, and there's 4 of these patterns, so it'd be good to maybe cut each of these patterns out, and then you've got 4 of them. Lovely. This one here, more of an orange tone, so I did try to get a variety of colours so I can turn this into another linen pack. This larger one here with a rose, so that's really beautiful as well. So those are the linens, really pretty. And then the other, well, there's a lot of things I look for, but another thing that I look for is music paper and piano paper. So let's give you a look at some of these lovely vintage finds. And not all of these actually I got this year. So some years I would do op shopping and vintage shopping, but I didn't have enough room in my suitcase to take it back with me, or for whatever reason I didn't want to send a box up, or there wasn't any room in the box. So over the years in Melbourne, when I did my shopping hauls, I might collect some books and extra things that didn't quite make it each time I flew back to Melbourne. So some of those did build up, and I just kept them in Melbourne. But this time I was like, no, I don't care. I'm just going to put in the effort and pack a box, because it's cheaper to pack a box than to take in checked luggage on the plane. So I just put in the effort, got a box, taped it up, did all the stuff, and yeah, I finally took up everything that I ever bought while I was in Melbourne, not just from this one visit. So I got these. This was one of the ones that stayed in Melbourne because it's quite big and heavy and there was just no room for it. And then these 2 I picked up this year. I love this music paper. I use it for backgrounds, collage, tags, pages, covers, everything. So I'm always going through my supply. Like, even though I've got quite a lot of music paper in my music paper drawer, I'm always using it. So I always need to top it up. Yeah, I like getting the bigger books just because they're going to last a long time. So when I see a big book, I like getting it because I know I can get a lot of use out of that. And yeah, since I'm going to be in Bowen for the whole year, these books will then now last me for this year. And then music paper rolls. These are another item that I only find in Melbourne. And I got these. Can I show them like this? Hang on, it's not going to focus very well, but Paris. I got that one for my French journals. So I'm looking at the titles, and yeah, I just got 2 because I used to have 3, and now I've only got 1, and that one I've been using. So I was like, okay, I better top up my supply of piano paper. And I look for ones that have an interesting cover piece. So that's beautiful, love it. This one's got the normal kind of lighter paper, although the piano roll papers that I have are cream. These ones are more brown, so that's kind of fun. I didn't know that they could come in different colour tones. Oh dear, now I've got to forget which one goes with which. This one's really cool because this one's like a craft paper. So that will be really fun for pages, giving variety of colour tones. Cream, light brown, and then this craft paper brown. How cool is that? Yeah, I had no idea it came in different colours. But that was a nice surprise. Because when I opened it, I thought that was just what the colour of the cover bit was. And then I thought it would go to cream for the rest of it, but the whole thing is brown. These I always look for as well. Sewing patterns. I only get the ones that are illustrated, and I especially love the more vintage style of illustrations. So this one I think I want to put into my own journal because it is just so sweet as a pocket page or tip-in. Yeah, I just think that's adorable. Or even as a journal cover for myself, because I've never made myself one using a pattern. And I have this idea that before I stop making journals, I want to have made myself one in every kind of style that I like, and to have eventually in any of my journals, whatever, a piece of ephemera or embellishment that I've made one of each type that I've ever made, just so I can remember my journey of the things that I made, the things that I enjoyed. So that's something I've been thinking about as well. And yeah, really lovely. They've got the, you know, the tissue paper, which is great for collaging, and also the pattern pages, which are great for journal pages. So that's fun. I love that you get different, you know, textures as well of the patterns and the tissue paper. Some are white, some are darker brown, some are lighter brown. So that is fun. Love, love, love. I also got these two cards while I was at the same place here. In terms of where I got all these things, so it's various op shops, Vinnie's, Salvo's, Red Cross, maybe St. Lawrence, Brother St. Lawrence, those types of op shops. And then the vintage shops I went to were Market Fair in Ferntree Gully, Hunted in Bayswater, Butler's in Olinda, and an antique shop in Bendigo. So I was in Bendigo at an op shop at a Salvo's, and I got these cards. So this card was really cool. Look at that. I've never seen a card like that before. And just the florals are beautiful. I thought maybe that could make a good cover. Just got a generic teal envelope just because I like it for personal journaling. And this, because when I went to Bendigo with some of my family, this reminded me of that. Because we go on a holiday to do nothing together and just enjoy doing nothing together that you can only do on holidays. And so I'd cut off that, and I'll probably do a journal with me video showing my Bendigo pages and adding that card in. So I got all of those from the same place. And then these ones I got from Market Fair. They're just random paper packs. I thought these would be good for personal journaling, just to decorate pages, and also for the vintage journals that I make, just to add some lovely pages, a variety of different vintage pages and illustrated pages and all that kind of stuff. So those are really fun. Quite a lot of goodies in there. And also from that op shop that I got these from, on my way to the checkout counter, I found this, a music book. So I love using blank sheet music paper as well. So this was a good find. I haven't found this very often, maybe one other time or two other times. And yeah, I love using this as background pages too, or just journal pages. So that was fun. And then now I'm saving all my favorite pieces to last, like the really exciting pieces. So I'm just looking around at what I've got and trying to think, what do I show next? Okay, now we're going to my favorite pieces. I found this bridge score pad, and I've seen this in countless, you know, Etsy stores and things, and always wanted to find my own, and this is the first time I found my own, and there's so many pages. It was a brand new pack wrapped up in plastic, so all the pages are there. Yay, I love the cream. That's perfect. I love that. I only got one book. Usually I go nuts getting books, because books are one of my favorite supplies, but I have to be very selective now because I've got too many books. But I just got this one book, a vintage French one, because I love making vintage French journals, so I'm always using vintage French book pages in my journals, and therefore running out of pages. So just topping up my vintage book page collection for those journals. Oh, and it came with a little bit of ephemera tucked in. I love that. So fun when you find things like that. I got a bunch of bird cards, a nice bulk lot, and there are doubles, which is actually good because that way I can feel like I can use them. Some for my journaling, personal journaling, bird journals I make, just vintage journals, garden journals, you know, all my botanical journals. This would all go with that. I love that they're beautiful, bright coloured cards, and that's really cool. I'm very happy with a bulk set of these. Australian birds. Very nice. And then, oh, so exciting. Okay. I always look for vintage swap cards and playing cards. and I just love these. Hang on, let's go from the back to the front. Okay, so these are just adorable. I got a nice variety, some florals. Okay, maybe it's not a variety for other people, but my sister-in-law, she knows vintage, and she helped me choose some of these. She let me know which ones were like really good, and other ones I just got because I liked them. But for me, a variety in terms of there's some floral, there's some bird, there's some animal. How cute. And a lot of these I got for my own personal journaling because I love using vintage cards to enhance the journaling and just to decorate the page. And I really want to use my things this year. That's in the Intentional Life course I talk about personal principles, and at the top of my list of personal principles this year is use the things, because now's the time. I don't know how long I'll be making journals for, so for as long as it's giving me joy, I want to make sure I'm using the supplies, because towards the end of like throughout my journal making stint phase I've had moments where I've been like, I'm not really into making journals anymore. And especially last year, the thought of making journals was just not exciting me anymore. And I was just like, well, what do I do with all my supplies? Like, what a waste. And so always, though, my desire to make journals has come back again. I've noticed that they've been more frequent and they've lasted longer. The lack of desire to make journals. So that's telling me, it's coming closer to that time where maybe I move on to a different craft or different creative activity. And so I was like, okay, well, now's the time. While I still am excited about making journals, and while I still am excited about these supplies, I've really got to use them now. Start using these things that I've been hoarding for years. I've been hoarding precious treasures for years, always intending to use them in my personal journals, but never doing it. And it's like, well, I'm going on a tangent now. If I don't use them now, I might not want to use them later on. So use them while you want to use them is the lesson that I learned from that. So I'm going to start using these things, the postcards, the things that I've been hoarding. Anyway, got some beautiful vintage postcards. At one place I got these ones. This one reminded me of a palette, so I like that. And then these ones are incredibly special. These are my favorites. So these ones are vintage French postcards. Oh, aren't they just darling? I love the script on the back too. The florals. Oh my goodness. Stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Just amazing. Oh, aren't they beautiful? And then this was a really cool find. I've never seen this before, but there were a whole set. I think there were like 60. They were super expensive though. I wish I could have bought all of them, or I wish I could have even bought 5 of them, but they were so expensive. I only just got one, and they're all different embroidered flowers. And there were 3 blue ones that I was tossing up between. I wish I could have got all 3, but I just decided on this one as something special for my personal journal. Well, that's one of the treasures for me to use. Okay, so those are very exciting. My favourite supplies are vintage items, so vintage ephemera, vintage pages. So that's the next thing. As much as I love vintage ephemera and vintage books, my absolute favourite supply for junk journals is ledger paper. It's just your paper. I love paper so much. So I managed to get 4-ish notebooks. So this is a little one, a tiny little one, but every page is blank. I love it. So that I can use these for journal pages, for my own. A lot of this I got for my own book as well that I'm going to be making this year, because all the pages are going to be full colour and they're going to be kind of mixed media art junk journal pages. And so I'm going to be writing on top of collaged backgrounds a lot of the time, and that's why I was looking for this, not just for my junk journals but for backgrounds for my book. And so I want to use a lot of vintage ledger paper for my backgrounds, and things like this is what I'm looking for. Just, this is my favorite page to go in a journal. This is my favorite thing for a background, and it's a scrapbook about racing, so it's got really cool ephemera here, tickets and clippings and booklets, like really cool things. And like I could rip that page out and use that as journaling space. And even though I'm not into racing or anything, I just thought it was cool memorabilia that I could use to add to journal pages, because, you know, it's fun vintage ephemera. And what I loved most about it though were these blank pages. Ugh, beautiful. And then this one here, again, look at those beautiful pages. The color is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pages. And then I love this too. There's so many typewritten and handwritten poems in this book. Look at that script writing. Isn't that gorgeous? So cool. And then my absolute favorite, I've got one more item to share after this, which is incredibly special, but this is my favorite item in terms of supplies to make journals: vintage ledger. Now, I have been looking for a ledger forever, and they're not around in Melbourne for some reason, or the op shops and places I go to. And when I look online, they're always so expensive. Like, some of them are like $1,000 on Etsy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to get a ledger. And then, unless I find one in person, and then I found this. Oh my goodness, it is so beautiful. I love this. I love that there's so many pages. I love that there's a variety of pages. Oh my goodness. And I love that it was affordable. I was thinking this could be like $50, $100, maybe more, but 15, I can do that. 15 I can do. And isn't that cover amazing too? Like, it's really chunky and heavy and really, like, oh my gosh, it's solid as. Really hard to pick up, but I love these pages. So cool. All right, let me share the final item that I got and the story behind this. I have gone down the rabbit hole of typewriters. I've been wanting a typewriter for as long, like forever. I wanted a typewriter when I was a kid, and as a writer, typewriters are just like amazing, the pinnacle. So I've been researching for a while now, and I've narrowed my list to maybe 10 to 15, and I was looking up the best typewriters for writers. Like, I actually want to use this to write pages, you know, so I want something that's quick and light and easy to use. And so I was looking up the best typewriters, sizing, got into the whole mechanics of typewriters, restoring, and how to, like, all the specifications, the weight, the dimensions, the specifics of how it moves, and carriage and basket and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just got down this whole rabbit hole with that, and therefore I've got a whole list now of typewriters that I would like to get. This is going to be a very expensive hobby. And on my list, if anyone wants to know, are things like the Tipper Adler, the Hermes Baby, or the Hermes Rocket, the Olympia Splendid, the Brother Deluxe, the I'm not going to remember, Princess 300, the I know there's like a Remington, and there is a Smith Corona Sterling, and oh goodness, I'm gonna forget them all now. But anyway, one of the typewriters on the list as well was the Olivetti Latera, and this is often on the list of best typewriters for writers, so this was quite high on my list. In fact, I think this was like the top 2 best typewriters for writing, so I really wanted to try this one, since I also got this for my book. So I've been wanting a typewriter forever, but because I'm doing this book this year, I want quite a lot of my pages, I think, to be typewritten. And so I thought, well, now's the year to get a typewriter for that book. And eventually, like over the course of my life, I think it might be a little hobby of mine to go through my list and tick them off whenever I can find an affordable one. And yeah, I just thrifted this one, and I love how it's in good condition, and yeah, so cool. And yeah, I was thinking of getting just my favorite typewriter and just going all out with my favorite one, getting the best I could find and just being happy with that. But when I researched it, I realized I'm not going to know which one's the best one until I can feel the keys myself and feel the weight of them, the strike, the mechanics, the distance apart from each other, the size of the keys, the shape of the key. Like, that's not something you can know just from researching and reading online. I pretty quickly realized it's got to be through experience. So that's why if I find one for like $20, you know, I can restore them myself. I've looked up videos on supplies needed to restore, and so I'm going to try and delve into that a little bit. And if I can get, you know, pick up a typewriter for $20, that way I could see personally what typewriter suits me best, and who knows, I might fall in love with them all and have a typewriter collection of 10 typewriters. Maybe one day when I have my own place I could display them around. Yeah, but for now this is what I've got to work with. I do have my grandpa's typewriter, and I was hoping to just use that for the book, but it's so old and clunky and you can't get new ribbons for it. It's got a specific type of ribbon, and like their own metal things and everything. So it's really difficult to get the right ribbons for it, and that ribbon is just in pieces now, so unusable. And even if it was usable, the keys are very stuck, and not a fluid typing experience, so not good for writing a book. Whereas this one, I checked all the keys work, the ribbon is intact, you can get universal ribbons anyway, and yeah, I would attempt writing a book on this typewriter. And if I ever see any of the other typewriters on my list for, you know, $20 or so, I'll pick those up as well. And yeah, so that's my typewriter story, and I am super excited to have all these supplies now to start making journals. I was waiting to start making journals this year until my boxes arrived with everything, so I could just get a lay of the land and see what I've got to work with, and then yeah, really get started now on the book, because now I've got all my pieces gathered together and I can really go through every photo, every piece of ephemera and paperwork that I've kept throughout my life, every little piece of my life I'm going to go through throughout this year and somehow put it together into a book and add my text to the pages using this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that haul. It was a long video, but there's a lot to get through, and I'm so excited to now get started on making journals and making this book. Yay! Yay, 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 yay. Awesome, guys. Let me know what your favorite item was down in the description box. Let me know what kinds of things you look for when you go thrifting, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.